भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि।
गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्रयवतु। गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत इषवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुदते नमः या त इषुः शिवतमा शिवं बभूवते धनुः शिवा शरव्याया तव तया नो रुद्रमृडया या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापगाशिनी तया नस्तनुवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ता विचागशीः यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्तेभिवर्ष्यस्तवे शिवां गिरित्रतां कुरु माहि गुंशीः पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्चावदामसि यदा नः सर्वमिज्जगदयक्ष्मगुं सुमना असत् अद्य वोचदधिवक्ता प्रथमो देव्योऽभिषक् ऐगश्च सर्वान् जम्बयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असो यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रस्सु मङ्गलः ये क्षेमागुं रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षुश्रिता सहस्रशो वैशागुं मेढयीमहे असो यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतेनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुतहार्यः उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीडुषे अतो ये अस्य सत्त्वानोऽहं तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्चदन्मनस्त्वमुभयोराट्नियोज्यां याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वप अवतत्यधनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षशतेषु ते निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विज्रं धनुःकपर्दिनो विशल्यो भानवागुम् उत अनेसन्नस्येष व आपुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मीडुष्टमहस्ते बभूवते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अतो य इषुदिष्टवारे अस्मन्निदेहितं नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिगाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
ॐ श्री भगवान् सत्य साई बाबाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सत्यस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सत्यधर्मपरायणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् वरदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सत्पुरुषाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सत्यगुणात्मने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् साधुवर्धनाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् साधुजनपोषणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वजनप्रियाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वशक्तिमूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वसङ्गपरित्यागिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वान्तरयामिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् महिमात्मने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् महेश्वरस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रतिग्रामोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रतिक्षेत्रनिवासिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् यशक्काय शिरडिवासिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् जोडि आदिपल्लि सोमप्पाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भारद्वाज ऋषिगोत्राय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तवत्सलाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अबान्धरात्मने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अवतारमूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वभयनिवारिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आभस्तम्भसूत्राय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् रत्नाकरवंशोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शिरडी साई अभेदशक्ति अवताराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शङ्कराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शिरडी साई मूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् द्वारकामायि वासिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् चित्रावती तटपुट्टपति विहारिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शक्तिप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शरणागतत्राणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आनन्दाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आनन्ददाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आतत्राणपरायणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अनाथनाथाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् असहाय सहायाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् लोकबान्धवाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् लोकरक्षापरायणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् लोकनाथाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् दीनजनपोषणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् मूर्तित्रयस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् मुक्तिप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कलुषविदुराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् करुणाकराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वाधाराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वहृदयवासिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् पुण्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वपापक्षयकराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वरोगनिवारिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वबाधहराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अनन्तनुतकर्तनाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आदिपुरुषाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आदिशक्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अपरूपशक्तिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अव्यक्तरूपिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कामक्रोधध्वंसिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कनकाम्बरधारिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अद्भुतचर्याय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आपद्बान्धवाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रेमात्मने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रेममूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रेमप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् प्रियाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तप्रियाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तमन्दाराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तजनहृदयविहाराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तजनहृदयालयाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तपराधीनाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तिज्ञानप्रदीपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् भक्तिज्ञानप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शून्यानमार्गदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् ज्ञानस्वरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् गीताबोधकाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् ज्ञानसिद्धिदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सुन्दररूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् पुण्यपुरुषाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् फलप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् पुराणपुरुषाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अतीताय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कालातीताय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सिद्धिरूपाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सिद्धसङ्कल्पाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आरोग्यप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् अन्नवस्त्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् संसारदुःखक्षयकराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वाभीष्टप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कल्याणगुणाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् कर्मध्वंसिने नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् साधुमानसशोभिताय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वमतसम्मताय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् साधुमानसपरिशोधकाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् साधुकानुग्रहवरवृक्षप्रतिष्ठापकाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सकलसंशयहराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सकलतत्त्वबोधकाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् योगेश्वराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् योगेन्द्रवन्दिताय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वमङ्गलकराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सर्वसिद्धिप्रदाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आपन्निवारिणे नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् आतिहराय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् शान्तमूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् सुलभप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ श्री भगवान् श्री सत्य साई बाबाय नमः।
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा, तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा, पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्ति पुरेशा,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्तिपुरेशा,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्ति पुरेशा,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्तिपुरेशा,
साई गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
साई गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
साई गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
विघ्न विनाश गणेशा,
पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
पार्वती नंदन पाहि गजानना,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्ति पुरेशा,
प्रणव स्वरूपा भक्तिपुरेशा,
साई गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
साई गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
गणेशा विघ्न विनाशा,
तुम हो विघ्न विनाश गणेशा।
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम,
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम,
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम,
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम, शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
मानस भजरे गुरुचरणं
मानस भजरे गुरुचरणं
दुस्तर भवसागर तरणं
दुस्तर भवसागर
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय
साईनाथ सतगुरु जय जय
सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव
अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिव
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा
ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओंकारं भव ओम नमो बाबा मानस भजरे गुरुचरणं दुस्तर भवसागर तरणम् ब्रह्माण्डनायका बाबा प्रतिपुरीश्वर बाबा नायका बाबा प्रतिपुरीश्वर बाबा ब्रह्माण्ड नायका बाबा प्रतिपुरीश्वर बाबा ब्रह्माण्ड नायका बाबा चांद और सूरज तुमने बनाए चांद और सूरज तुमने बनाए नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए बाबा नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए नदियाँ सागर तुमने बनाए ब्रह्मांड नायका बाबा प्रतिपुरीश्वर बाबा ब्रह्मांड नायका तुमने बनाए, बाबा शिरडीपति तुमने बनाए, ब्रह्मांड नायका बाबा प्रतिपुरीश्वर बाबा।
Every moment of my life, please be with me.
Every moment of my life, please be with me.
Every moment of my life, please be with me.
Every moment of my life, please be with me.
In every single act of mine, be thou my guide.
In every single act of mine, be thou my guide.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba,
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
when I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
When I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba,
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
from the darkness into light, lead me, Father.
Darkness into light, lead me, Father.
From the darkness into light, lead me, Father.
Darkness into light, lead me, Father.
From unreal to the real.
From unreal into the real.
From unreal to the real.
From unreal into the real.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba,
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
every moment of my life, please be with me.
Every moment of my life, please be with me.
In every single act of mine, be thou my guide.
Every single act of mine, be thou my guide.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
when I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I slip, when I fall, lend me your hand.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
When I stray far away, bring me back again.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
from the darkness into light, lead me, Father.
Darkness into light, lead me, Father.
From unreal to the real.
From unreal to the real.
Bhaba Sai Bhaba,
Baba Sai Baba.
Bhaba Sai Baba,
Baba Sai Baba.
every moment of my life, please be with me.
Sai Ram Ghanasham
भगवान तुम्हारा नाम।
साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम।
साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम।
साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम।
तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले,
तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले,
तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले,
बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले,
तुम बिन कोई नहीं आप सहारे,
बिन कोई नहीं आप सहारे,
तुम बिन कोई नहीं आप सहारे,
कोई नहीं आप सहारे,
तुम बिन प्रेम कोई नहीं देने वाले, तुम बिन प्रेम कोई नहीं देने वाले, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम बाबा, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम साई, भगवान तुम्हारा नाम। साई राम तुम्हारा नाम। साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम। तुम बिन कोई नहीं रखवाले, तुम बिन कोई नहीं आप सहारे, तुम बिन प्रेम कोई नहीं देने वाले, तुम हो मेरे आत्मा राम बाबा, भगवान तुम्हारा नाम। साई राम तुम्हारा नाम। साई राम घनश्याम भगवान तुम्हारा नाम।
जय कौसल्यानन्दन राम परमानन्द आनन्द राम।
कौसल्यानन्दन राम परमानन्द आनन्द राम।
आनंद आनंद
जय शिरीष पतीश राम जय प्रशांति साईश राम
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 जय कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम
कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम
मंगल पवन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
मंगल पावन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
जय मंगल पवन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
मंगल पावन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम जय शिरीष पतीश राम जय प्रशांति साईश राम
जय शिरीष पतीश राम जय प्रशांति साईश राम
कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम
कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम
मंगल पवन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
मंगल पावन राम जय सुंदर वैदेही राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम
जय सुंदर साईश राम कौसल्यानंदन राम परमानंद आनंद राम
मेघरूप हरि मानस चोरा
रूप हरि मानस छोरा
मेघरूप हरि मानस चोरा
रूप हरि मानस छोरा
वृंदावन विहारी
वृंदावन विहारी
वृंदावन विहारी
वृंदावन विहारी
मधुसूदना कृष्ण मुरलीधारी
मधुसूदना कृष्ण मुरलीधारी
मधुसूदना कृष्ण मुरलीधारी
मधुसूदना कृष्ण मुरलीधारी
गोपी हृदय विहारी कृष्ण
गोपी हृदय विहारी
राधा हृदय संचारी मेघरूप हरि मानस चोरा वृंदावन विहारी मधुसूदना कृष्ण मुरलीधारी गोपी हृदय विहारी कृष्ण राधा हृदय संचारी मेघरूप हरि मानस चोरा।
राम साई राम साई राम साई राम
राम साई राम साई राम साई
राम साई राम साई राम साई राम
राम साई राम साई राम साई
राम साई राम साई राम साई राम
राम साई राम साई राम साई
राम साई राम साई राम साई राम
राम साई राम साई राम साई कौशल्य नंदन दशरथ राम कौशल्य नंदन दशरथ राम कौशल्य नंदन दशरथ राम कौशल्य नंदन दशरथ राम जानकी वल्लभ जय जय 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 राम लक्ष्मण सेवित लावण्य राम लक्ष्मण सेवित लावण्य राम
जागो 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 शंकरा,
जागो जागो शंकरा,
जागो 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 शंकरा,
जागो जागो शंकरा,
जागो जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो 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 शंकरा,
जागो जागो शंकरा,
हाला हाला दया हे परमेशा,
हाला हाला हे परमेशा,
हाला हाला दया हे परमेशा,
हाला हाला हे परमेशा,
हे त्रिपुरारी जयपतीशा,
त्रिपुरारी जयपतीशा,
हे त्रिपुरारी जयपतीशा,
त्रिपुरारी जयपतीशा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
गौरीवरा शंकरा,
गौरीवरा शंकरा,
गौरीवरा शंकरा,
गौरीवरा शंकरा,
बालगंगाधरा शंकरा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
बालगंगाधरा शंकरा,
गंगाधरा शंकरा,
साईश्वरा शंकरा,
साईश्वरा शंकरा,
सत्य साईश्वरा शंकरा,
साईश्वरा शंकरा,
जागो 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 शंकरा,
जागो जागो शंकरा,
जागो जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो साईश्वरा,
जागो 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 शंकरा,
जागो जागो शंकरा,
हाला हाला दया हे परमेशा, हे त्रिपुरारी जयपतीशा, गंगाधरा शंकरा, गौरीवरा शंकरा, बालगंगाधरा शंकरा, साईश्वरा शंकरा, सत्य साईश्वरा शंकरा, जागो 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 शंकरा,
भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकरा,
विभूषित भवानी शंकरा,
भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकरा,
विभूषित भवानी शंकरा,
भवभयनाशा भोला शंकरा,
भयनाशा भोला शंकरा,
भवभयनाशा भोला शंकरा,
भयनाशा भोला शंकरा,
हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा,
हर हर शंकर साम शिवा,
हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा,
हर हर शंकर साम शिवा,
हर हर शंकर साई शिवा ओम हर हर शंकर साई शिवा भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर भवभयनाशा भोला शंकर हर हर शंकर सांब शिवा हर हर शंकर साई शिवा ओम हर हर शंकर साई शिवा ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः हरि ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः हरि ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः हरि ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः भस्म विभूषित भवानी शंकर
जननी साई देवी दयामयी
जननी साई देवी दयामयी
जननी साई देवी दयामयी
जननी साई
जननी साई देवी दयामयी।
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शिव 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं
शिव 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं
हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं
हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं
शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
गौरी नंदन कार्तिकेया
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
शिव 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 शिव
शिव शिव शिव शिव सुब्रह्मण्यं
हर हर
सुब्रह्मण्यं हर 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 सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं शिव शिव हर हर सुब्रह्मण्यं शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं शरवण भवर सुब्रह्मण्यं शंभु कुमारा षण्मुगनाथा
बिना सुख शांति नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं हरि नाम बिना हरि भजन बिना शांति नहीं जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं दय धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं हरि नाम बिना परमार्थ नहीं हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, हरि भजन बिना, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं।
असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। शांति शांति शांति। ओम तत्सत् श्री नारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धभूत स्कंद विनायक सविता पावक तू, सविता पावक तू। ब्रह्ममस्त दुर्लभ शक्ति येषु पिता प्रभु तू, विष्णु राम कृष्ण रहीमता हो तू, रहीमता हो तू। वासुदेव तू विश्वरूप चिदानंद हरि तू, आदितीय तू अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तू, आत्मलिंग शिव तू, आत्मलिंग शिव तू। ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। शशिवदना श्रीधरा सर्वा प्राणपते, स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते। आश्रित कल्परतीका, आश्रित कल्परतीका आपद्बान्धवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। माता गुरुदेवं हरियं करुणीवे, स्वामी मरियं
Jai Satgurudeva.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Our announcements for this week. The next sadhana meeting of the National Pilgrimage to Prashanti will take place on Saturday, the 3rd of June at Oxley Wood Primary School in Watford from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The program will include prayers, talks, Q&A, and bhajans. There will be breakout sessions for Balavikas, Vedam chanting, bhajan singing, and service. This is open to all members, however, is mandatory to those going on the pilgrimage in July. The registration form can be accessed via saimandir.org.uk/announcements. We are very fortunate this afternoon to welcome Brother Philipp von Dietlein, Zonal Chair for Zone 6 UK and Europe of the Sri Sathya Sai Global Council, to Merton Sai Center. He will be giving a talk shortly, so we kindly ask devotees to stay behind. Thank you. We will now have a short video of Bhagavan.
కనుక 10 దినముల ముందుగా జరిగిపోయినటువంటి నీవు యోచించొద్దు.
Don't think of the past.
ప్రెజెంట్ నీవు యోచించు.
Think of the present.
పాస్ట్ ట్రీ.
Past is a tree.
ఫ్యూచర్ ట్రీ.
Future is also a tree.
ప్రెజెంట్ ఇస్ సీడ్.
Present is the seed.
ఆ పాస్ట్ ట్రీ నుంచి ప్రెజెంట్ సీడ్ వచ్చింది.
Out of the past tree you have the present seed.
ప్రెజెంట్ సీడ్ నుంచి ఫ్యూచర్ ట్రీ వస్తుంది.
Out of the present seed you will have the future
కాబట్టి
tree.
సీడ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్.
So seed is very very important.
ఆ సీడ్ ని ప్రెజెంట్ లో మీరు తగినటువంటి శాంతిని పొందాలి.
Therefore you should take care of the present seed and attain peace.
ఏ మాత్రము మీరు తలంచకండి.
Don't be bothered with the future. Never be worried.
ప్రెజెంట్ లో మనం మంచిగా ఉంటే ఫ్యూచర్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మనకు మంచిదే వస్తుంది.
If you are good in the present, in future you will be good.
కనుకనే ఫ్యూచర్ ని యోచన చేసుకుంటూ పోవద్దు.
So don't be worried of the future.
నా ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, నా ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, నా ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, ఇది ఒక సైకలాజికల్ గా నిజంగా దుఃఖమే ఏర్పడిపోతుంది.
People go on worrying. They are highly agitated. They are bothered of their future, what's going to happen.
దీన్ని చింతనే చేయకూడదు.
Don't bother about it.
ఎందుకు వరి చేయాలి?
Why should you worry?
What is the shape of worry?
What is the shape of worry?
It is mental created fear only.
Worry means mentally created fear only.
ఈ వరికి ఏ మాత్రము రూపం లేదు.
Worry has no form.
నీవు క్రియేట్ చేసుకుంటున్నావు.
It is only your creation.
కాబట్టి అలాంటి ఒక దీనికి మీరు అవకాశం ఇవ్వకూడదు.
Never give scope for such worry.
ఈ విధంగా ఉంటుండి ఎప్పుడు చూసినా కూడాను ఆనందంగా ఉంటుండండి.
Be happy all the time.
మాకు ఎట్ట స్వామి ఇంటిలో అనేక చిక్కులు ఉంటాయి, మాకు అనేక బాధలు ఉంటున్నాయి, సంసారంలో చాలా వ్యతలు ఉంటున్నాయి, మేము ఎట్ట సుఖంగా ఉండడానికి వీలవుతుందంటారు.
You may say, Swami, how is it possible to be happy all the time? We have got our own problems, our own worries there.
పోనీ వరి చేస్తే మన ప్రాబ్లం పోతుందాయా?
Is worry a solution to a problem?
పోవటం లేదే.
No.
కనుక ఎందుకు వరి చేసి
Then
ప్రయోజనం
why
ఏంటి?
should you worry? What is the fun of it?
హ్యాపీగా ఉండు.
Be happy now.
ఈ హ్యాపీని నీ వరిని దూరం చేస్తుంది.
And this happiness will keep you that worry far off.
అంతేగాని వరి చేసుకుంటూ కూర్చుంటే వరి ఇంకా ప్లస్ 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 అవుతుంది.
Because this worry will add to your problem more and more.
కనుక నీ వరి చేయకూడదు.
Never worry.
ఏదొచ్చినా కానీ ఇది భగవత్ ప్రసాదం.
Take it as God's gift, whatever may happen.
ఈ కష్టములు కూడా భగవత్ ప్రసాదమే.
Even the difficulties are
pleasure
God's
is an
gift.
interval between two pains.
The pleasure is an interval between two pains.
కనుక ఈ రెండు కష్టముల మధ్యలోనే ఒక సుఖం ఉంటుండాలి.
And there lies the happiness. In between
కష్టములే
two pains.
లేకపోతే సుఖం యొక్క విలువనే మనకు తెలియదు.
Without a pain you cannot know the value of a pleasure.
Sairam, brothers and sisters. One final notice for the centre. For the last few years, the temple and volunteers from the Merton Sai Centre have been working closely with the NHS and with local GPs to tackle health inequalities in the BAME communities. As a result of that, we have held several successful community health clinics here in the Sai Mandir and also in other places of worship. Our next phase will be running health courses and well-being courses here at the temple. We'll be running a women's health and well-being course for 12 weeks on Saturday evenings at the temple. The course will tackle subjects such as diet, women's medical problems, weight management, parenting, well-being, and exercise. If you live in the London Borough of Merton or have a GP that is in Merton and would like to attend in person or online, please speak to me or Sister Vanida, and we'll give you further details, or there are notices in the middle hall as well. We will begin a 12-week course online for ladies as well, and also a separate course online for men, tackling men's health issues. So please do see us afterwards. We are truly thankful that our beloved Bhagavan has sent Brother Philipp von Dietlein to inspire us all today with his words. After obtaining a degree in philosophy and economics in the US, Brother Philipp returned to Germany. Completing an MBA course at business school, he set up his own company and other successful enterprises. He worked as an entrepreneur and consultant until partly retiring in 2012 for health reasons. He says that retirement did not fit his age or energy at that time, so he undertook a PhD in philosophy. However, continuing health issues made him reconsider his life and lifestyle. Presently, he teaches yoga, meditation, and communication with neuro-linguistic programming, with occasional business projects. And in 2022, he also enrolled in a master's program on mediation. He was called by Swami in 1992, when Swami appeared in his dreams, asking him to come to India. Having absolutely no idea who Swami was, there began, as he says, a winding and mysterious path until he found himself sitting in the Sai Kulwant Hall in 1997. He officially joined the Sai organization in 2013, translating and editing Swami's books in German with his wife, who managed the German Book Trust. He also managed some social media for the Sai organization and supported his wife in daily translation of Prashanti's thought for the day for Swami's German-speaking devotees. In 2021, Brother Philipp was asked to be zonal chair for the UK and Europe, and with Swami's inner direction and blessings, he accepted. So without further ado, may I humbly call upon Brother Philipp von Dietlein to address us.
So, thank you. I didn't get your name. So thank you for the introduction and those kind words. Is this on? You can hear me all right, right? Hello? 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 Okay, fine. So, yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was over anxious to spread love and light, so my apologies. My talk was going to be about the future, and then we just saw the little discourse where talking about the future doesn't actually make sense because there is no future, it's all in our heads. I'm still going to talk about a little bit about the future because Swami's discourses are nice. We all love them. I mean, I love them. But what does it actually mean, and how do we get that integrated into our daily lives? That's sometimes tricky. I mean, we all have problems. We all have our daily challenges. And sometimes they're really challenging, right? You know, that's okay. So, who of you were there yesterday? Anyone? Okay, good. apparently you're a very smart and dedicated bunch, right? I mean, after all, you're here on a Sunday afternoon, not playing cricket or, whatever people play these days, like Fortnite, is that still a thing? I know World of Warcraft is out, but so this is actually very important, especially for your generation. Sorry, I feel very old when I say this. My little brother is 34, so I have a little bit of an idea of what's, sort of on your minds a little bit. And since I'm teaching yoga and communication, about 1/3 of my students is below 40, so I have a sense. And one thing I found very useful is a personal sadhana, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first of all, let me tell you a question. You all get the AI thing, the Chat GPT and all that? You all into computers? Yeah. Does it scare you? Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, well. You all know Skynet? Terminator? Seen the movie? Is that too old? What about The Matrix? Yeah? Yeah. Turning us into batteries. And what about iRobot? Good AI helping against bad AI? You've seen that? Anyway, so it is scary. If you think about it, that, computer networks are taking over, and there's a lot of scary talk about this right now that's affecting all of us. So my question to you is, how do we, as Sai devotees, apart from the fact that Swami just told us that there is no future, that's all in the present, how do you feel about the future? Is that scaring you? I mean, as a Sai devotee, is that really like scare and Sai? Does it go together? No, not really. You know the thing about why fear when I'm here? Heard that? Okay.
Yeah, that's what he said. Why fear when I'm here?
Exactly.
If you really believe that, then nothing will.
Exactly. Now, so let's take this one step. By the way, not to be picky, but I didn't finish my PhD because it was too much thinking and I had business projects going on. I was just in graduate school for my PhD in philosophy. But I am a philosopher by nature, which sort of got me interested. So, but why? How do you sort of explain this? Why fear when I'm here? I mean, it's nice, it gives comfort, but have you ever thought about why exactly, like how that makes sense? Have you? You just take his word for it, right? I mean, of course. But, like, is there a backside to it? Like a secret teaching? Ever thought about that? Any ideas? Okay. So, two things. First of all, do you really think that Swami is going to let AI take over? No. Right. Not really. I don't. Second, if it does, it's Swami's will, right? I mean, we just heard it. Take everything that happens as a gift to you, as a gift from God, as a whatever. So that's another thing not to worry about. But the third thing is, like, if something goes wrong, like we all die, heaven falls on our head, where do we go? To Swami. We're going back, right? So what's there to worry about? For me, since I'm obviously not a Hindu, since I screwed up the Arathi, this was an interesting revelation because in our Western culture, we have this funny idea about death. It's like something really scary. But for religious people, it's like, okay, it's a transition. It's not the end. Incidentally, every religion has that. I mean, no religion says your physical death is the end. So what's there to worry about? So maybe this is like preaching to the choir, but for me this was a revelation that there's actually like a non-religious philosophical basis for not having fear of the future. I'm not talking about an audit, hello Pratap, or taxes or root canal or something. Those are unpleasantries. But I'm talking about the real scary stuff that's going around the world right now, like climate change. You all worried about climate change? Drowning from rising sea levels? Okay, so how does that relate to why fear when I'm here? Puts a different perspective on it, right? I'm not saying it's not happening, and I'm definitely advocating that we should take care of our environment. I mean, it's Mother Earth, after all. But this scary thing? Really? Okay, I lost you there, I think, right? You're looking at me like, what is he talking about? Okay, just my thoughts. Sure. Well, that's an excellent question. I was going to come to that. So the idea is I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to unscare you. Okay? And so we're talking about this a little bit on the philosophical level, and then we're going to go into something that helps you, then it has value for you to do at home. Because I always find it very interesting and very necessary to translate, translating in German, but also for me, translate Swami's words and discourses, because sometimes I'm like, okay, this sounds very nice, but how do I relate to that? And then I get back and say, wow, this is really great, and now I get it. So the idea of not being scared is one thing, because actually scare or fear doesn't help. In fact, it's dangerous because neurologically it limits our perceptive, stress hormones, everything, and we get less intuitive, we get less creative. So stress and fear are two major enemies. That's why I always advocate, don't get scared. And don't let you be infected by the scare. We had the pandemic, we have the war, we have a million of things. I grew up in the so-called Cold War. Some of you might remember what that was. In Germany, we would have been the front state. My entire childhood, I was scared of 60,000 Russian tanks coming over. Never happened. In fact, in 1990, they opened the archives, and we found out the Soviet Union never had 60,000 tanks. Yet we were scared. Oh, actually, I was not, but, So this is all a construct, and it's not helping. What I'm saying is, don't be reckless. Don't go out in your underwear in the snowstorm or something like that. That's stupid. But don't be scared. Try to be in the moment, focused, and do what is necessary and what you can do. And that's the part I wanted to talk to you about, that you all figure out something you can do and not be victim to the government and this and that. Because that's not helpful, and it's very frustrating, because if you worry about things you cannot change, it's very, very unrewarding. So you need to take a step back and focus on things you can change, you can affect, and the first thing you can affect is your own behavior. How you think, how you feel, how you act, how you interact with others, how you maybe calm down your neighbor who is stocking up food because of an alien invasion or something, Don't laugh, there are people like that. I had a neighbor like that, so it's a real story. And they'll like you for it. Help them to calm down, get perspective, focus. Swami says it's very important. He calls it what? You know, but anybody? One-pointedness? Heard about that? Right? Focus? Very important. Because nowadays with all the gadgets we have, we are so distracted. And besides the other pandemic, we have what they call a dopamine pandemic. Dopamine is this thing that gets released when you eat cheesecake, or when you win an auction, or when you get likes on your Instagram post. It makes you feel good. So we're bombarded with things that make us feel good, so we're on this constant high, naturally. The problem is, life, as Swami said, life doesn't work that way. You're going to have a bad day. Like when those aliens come or something. No, I'm just kidding. Life is not meant to be all sunshine, because you can't experience the good without the bad. That's the polarity. And Swami says, the pleasure is the period between two pains, or the pain is the period between two pleasures. So you have to have the balance. And all the younger generation, the young people, and even people in their 40s in my classes, they have this too. People at my age, we still use phones and we chat and we do things, So it's very important that you put this into perspective. I'm not saying throw away your phones. Just, think about it. Because it's not helping you. It is sort of a little bit poisoning your mind. And we all know the monkey mind is not our best friend. Right? So what I like to suggest, you probably all have it, and then you can just smile and politely nod your head, is that you develop a personal sadhana. You know, like going for bhajans is nice and doing prayers, but something that helps you to focus. Especially you need something that you can do when things are a little off. Like you had a fight with your boyfriend or your car broke down or something, you know, those things that throw you off a little bit. And Swami talks about this a lot. Sometimes he uses the word pratyahara, which means like withdrawal of the senses. Usually he says control the senses. You know, don't go crazy. Don't get over anxious. Don't get excited about, especially don't get excited about things everybody else gets excited about. I mean, that's how hysteria starts. But the withdrawal of the senses and the control of the senses is not just for yogis, but it is for us because we're on the spiritual path and it keeps us focused. And when you're focused, you're able to act and help others. Otherwise, you're just wrapped up in yourself. You're dealing with your own emotions, with your own fears, with your own whatever, a broken taillight, you know. But it's just, you have to be able to be functional. Because only then are you able to help others, and that's, after all, you know, service to man, service to God. That's what we want to do. And one of these sort of focus points, and science is actually picking up on that, is silence. Believe it or not, science has discovered our brain need silence. Our brains detoxify in silence. Like Buddhists and yogis, they've known this for thousands of years. They do fasting and silent retreats and whatnot. But now there's science that this is actually working. It's not some mumbo jumbo or some religious practice. It's actually healthcare. It's mental healthcare. Why not use it? So, silence for the brain, essential. So, leave your phone away for, you know, whatever you do. Just, you know, start with 5 minutes, or just when you get up in the morning, do something other than checking Instagram. Because you let somebody else rule your life with that thing. I mean, I love my phone. I couldn't live without it, you know, with Patab and everything and the zone, and I get messages from the US and Italy and Spain, and this morning, and it's like, before breakfast, I'm like in office mode, and then I'm like, oh, wait a second, it's Sunday, it's just, you know, take a step back. So, one thing, I'm going to share this with you, it's directly from Swami, it's one of his discourses, is a breathing technique. He says there were ancient breathing techniques that were secret and they can't be done or can't be taught in this age. Oh, age, by the way, I forgot about that. The other thing why I'm not scared about the future, I don't think you should either, is Swami promised us the golden age, right? Kali to Sathya Yuga. So if the world drowns, how is that Sathya Yuga? Or maybe we just transcend to another dimension or whatever. So there's nothing to worry about, which does not mean we should not take care of the environment. You know, I mean, we can mess things up. And I always think that, you know, people talk about CO2 and everything. I said, yeah, well, plant some trees. But what really scares me, scares in big quotation marks, is plastic in the ocean. Did you know that they found microplastic in mother's milk? That's not supposed to happen. But that we can change. That we can change. We don't need Swami to fix it, or he needs us to fix it. Because, you know, I meet a lot of devotees that are like, oh, Swami's going to take care of it. And then they sit on the couch and they actually think that Swami's going to come and shovel the snow. And let me tell you a secret. He ain't. Not because he can't, but you wouldn't learn anything. I mean, we are his instruments. We're here to learn. We're here to expand. We're here to purify. But if you don't do anything, you're not learning. You're not transcending. You're not expanding. You know, expansion is my life. Heard that? Yeah, anyway. So, are you ready for a secret Swami pranayam? You want to do that? Okay. It's very simple. And he actually says you should practice this for at least 6 months. Not at the same time, of course, you know. And usually what you do, pranayams, is 10 to 15 minutes. That's like the usual time. And then you can start with 3 to 5, see how it works, because these things work. They affect your nervous system and your glands and everything. So however healthy or whatever time you have, and then be really sure before you go beyond 15 minutes. It's not dangerous, but the longer you do these things, the more intense they become, and you might overstrain your system a little bit, because breathing works on the nervous system. And sorry, even you all have stressed nervous systems. It's just a part of being alive because things are going on, okay? Now, before we begin, we have done that, but when you do this at home, Swami recommends that you sit down and you sort of become quiet for a moment and you sort of tune in with any mantra. That you become quiet, you say, okay, now this is my space, I'm going to do this. And I recommend the Gayatri mantra because everybody knows it, but if you have another favorite mantra, you can just recite that a couple of times. So to get ready. Yeah? Okay. So the breathing is very simple. You don't have to punch your ear or your nose or anything. You just sit anywhere. Usually either this or this is a good idea. You know, there are several versions. This is the wisdom Gayatri, Jian Mudra, you know, and then this is the active form. If you see Swami, he often goes like this. So, but whatever makes you comfortable. You can do Buddha Mudra, which I don't recommend for breathing because you have your arms here, you're kind of congested, constricted, and so something that, you know, like this is better because you're open. And then it's very simple. You inhale 2 counts. You exhale 4 counts. And you hold out 8 counts. Now, counting your breath is one of the oldest meditation techniques we have, but it's kind of boring. You know, counting gives the mind something to do, that's the trick. But I recommend you use Sairam. Yeah, you say Sairam, 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 Sairam. And then you hold out the breath. And this is tricky because, especially when you're new to this, you have this like, oh God, there's no air, I'm going to die. You won't. And from yoga, we know that holding out your breath stimulates and regulates what they call the parasympathetic nervous system, your relaxation response in your body. So this is actually very healthy. And it's also good for the heart. Important is that all air must go out. And this is something you might have to practice because we have the tendency to keep a little bit air in to make sure that we don't die. We won't die. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you will be. You want to try this? Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah? Okay. So, we each have a different breathing rhythm, so I suggest you just do this in your own rhythm. And of course, it's not like, okay? It's a pranayama. You're supposed to relax. You're supposed to keep your body relaxed, let any tension go, and just breathe slowly, but just keep the rhythm. In, side arm, out, side arm, side arm, side arm, side arm, and then hold out, side arm, 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 and in, side arm, side arm. Now the trick, of course, is that you don't adjust the breathing to the counts because you're going to run out of air. So in the 2 counts breathing in, you breathe stronger to get enough air in. And then in the 4 counts out, you breathe out a little bit slowly, but try to like empty your lungs on the 4th count. And then you hold out. As I said, it's very simple, but it's not easy. So should we try this? Okay? 2, 4, 8. And I'm going to shut up now and let you do your breathing. So thank you for being brave to try that. In yoga, we have a saying that yoga only works if you show up. For breathing, it only works if you do it. Start with 3 minutes. Just take the time out. You can do this in the morning, in the evening, on your lunch break. Empty stomach is preferable, but it doesn't really matter. And you can just sit. You can do it on the plane. You can, like I'm going to do tomorrow. You can do it on the train. You can do it in the car. Not while driving. Promise me. But apart from that, there is no restriction. Some people like to do it in public spaces. Some people like to be quiet at home. That's up to you. A discotheque and a bar is maybe not such a good idea, but like this place is perfect. So it only works if you practice, and you all know that practice makes perfect. So this is going to take a little bit, and it's going to change. So the first day you might love it because, I'm so relaxed. And the next day you're like, this is not working, this is broken, I'm doing something wrong, and then you're going to be up and down, but it'll be an increase over time. So be steady, focus, and just give yourself the chance for this to work, because this is an ancient technique, and Swami taught this himself. It's from a discourse, I'm not making this up. And it's a valuable tool for you to use, to be more happy and spread more love and light. Thank you. I think we have time for like 1 or 2 questions. Anything? If fear is good in any case? Oh, fear is an evolutionary tool that kept us alive. I mean, if our ancestors didn't have fear, we would have all been eaten by saber-toothed tigers, I guess they were called, a mammoth or whatever. But the problem is, it's an instinct, and it's not supposed to rule you. Like when you're at the beach and there's a tsunami wave coming, you better get the hell out of there. Like, no, my Swami is going to save me, and whoosh. I mean, you all know the story about the guy who was not saved by God, right? The flood. And other people came and said, like, there's a flood coming, you have to go. No, God is going to save me. And then the water came, and he went up to the first floor, and they came on a boat, and they said, come on, it's your last chance, you have a boat. He said, no, God is going to save me. And the water kept rising. He was on the roof. They came with a helicopter. They said, no, this is really your last chance. You have to get on board. You get out of here. Go to safety. He said, no, God is going to save me. He drowns. So he goes up to heaven and says, God, why did you save me? And God says, I came 3 times. You laugh. This is simple. But I know people who don't get this. Even Sai devotees. For example, in Germany, there was, for a while, there was a sentiment that people said, Swami said you shouldn't meditate. And I was like, excuse me? It's in the 9-point code of conduct. What people were doing is that they were projecting their laziness onto Swami's teaching. I said, you can't do this. This is not right. So you have to be careful. And, discrimination sounds nasty because it has this other connotation. But I like discernment, to separate the good from the bad. So you have to be able to distinguish, is it an irrational fear, like elevators? Or is it the natural fear of a math exam? That sometime your body and your mind tell you, like, you didn't study enough? That's why you're afraid? Yeah. So fear itself, as I said, gift from Swami, is not a bad thing. You just have to put it into context and in perspective. And the last thing you want to do is have fear rule you. I mean, that's why he says, why fear when I'm here? Because you're in the present is the seed for the future, so whatever you do in the present affects your future. So to be afraid of the future and not doing anything in the present to affect your future, not smart. You can do better. Does that answer your question? Okay, thanks for the question. One more, maybe? All blissed out, excellent. So, thank you for being here today. And I hope I'll see you again at some point, maybe in Prashanti in July. Anybody coming from the Central Leadership for the Central Leadership Conference? No, you're going on the pilgrimage, right? Yeah. I can't be there, unfortunately. I wanted to stay, but I can't. I have this thing called work, yeah. So anyway, thank you. Have a lovely day, and God bless.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Brother Philip, I'm sorry if we've not pronounced your surname correctly, but just on behalf of all of us at the center, to express our thanks for your very insightful talk and for coming all the way from your home country to share your thoughts with us. Thank you.
No, thank you. Every time I come to London, I feel like I'm coming home, and when I go home tomorrow, I will feel as if I had been in Prashanti. So, about my name. Yes, my last name is very German. I'm from a very old German family. My ancestry goes back about 1,200 years, so I have a lot of knighthood and military and all that non-dharmic stuff in my genes. Last time I was here, we agreed on my name, and it would be Philip Bai or Phil G. Okay? If you insist on calling me uncle, okay, but so thank you.
Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Jai Bolo Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।